All right. Hello and welcome to Critical Conversations. I am your host, Karissa Dean, and I am actually going to put my D&D on right now so that nobody interrupts us. And so I would invite you to do the very same in this moment. Really thankful to be alive and well and have lungs that are filling up with the most delicious air. And I want to start there and say that because I think we're all feeling it. Let's just be honest. We're all feeling it. I got off with 2 different clients today and a really good friend who goes way back in my world, way back in my dance team competition days, my dear friend. And, you know, throughout all these conversations I've had just today, right? Everyone is like, it's so much. It's so much right now. And they feel like they've tried to be really intentional with their time, with their energy, with their, what they're saying yes to. And everyone is feeling it. And it's so funny because I'm feeling it. And, I don't often relate in the moment with what my clients are going through. Usually I kind of like experience something and then a month later or a week later, sometimes even the very next day, I'm like, oh, that lesson was so that I could kind of like guide this person. And actually, it's so funny because I think everyone is just feeling it. And I don't know what it is. I'm not an astrological person as far as like I can kind of give you the basics that I understand by the people that I follow on social media, what I read on the internet. I have read some books. I do love to follow the moon, and I know working with the moon's energy during different seasons. But really, like, I don't, I'm not an expert in it, but whatever is going on right now is batshit crazy, and everyone is feeling it. Everyone's feeling like what just happened. And I think that's the best way to describe it. So today I want to talk about how to kind of surrender, how to kind of let life be in a flux, and how to allow that flux to exist without allowing it to pull you off or away from your zone of genius, or being in the ability to still create magic or have joy in your life. I think there's this place where if you're feeling depressed, you feel like you can't also have joy, or you're feeling like it's hard and heavy or chaotic, that joy and fun and spontaneity and like laughter can't exist. And this is where I kind of want to go today, and just like addressing the idea or the concepts that 2 things can be true at the same time. And I also am a huge advocate for there being 3 truths. There's your truth, my truth, and then the truth. And so I think that when we think about creating our dream life, manifesting something, really wanting to cultivate a new way of being, we kind of have this preconceived notion that it's gonna be a certain way, or that you have to be all in. Every day is, Mary fucking Poppins, happy joy. And that's just not the truth. And so, let's talk about it. But before we dive in too much more into the conversation, I do want to say thank you to those of you who have been hanging out with me. I think we're creeping into our 40th episode here shortly. This might even be it. And I'm having so much fun being here. And so thank you for listening. Thank you for those of you who have rated the podcast, who have liked, who've shared it, who've subscribed. Every time that you do that, it makes me really happy. And I do love when you guys send in show notes and feedback as well. So keep all of that happening and coming. And I'm really excited to even do more with this podcast in the next year. So thank you for being here. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about like duality. So I think that, just the inspiration for this conversation was, number 1, I needed a podcast. I needed to record something. Number 2, I think we're all fucking feeling it, and it's heavy, and it's like a little bit like, what the fuck just happened? And so again, I've had 3 different beautiful conversations today with two who are, amazing paid clients, and then a friend who reached out and he was like, I really just need someone to love on me. I need some clarity. Like, I didn't know who else to reach out to. And he was like, can I get a session with you? And I was like, hell yeah. So all of these people today are literally like, I don't know what just happened. And I need clarity and I need to slow down. And honestly, the biggest one is they all just need to breathe. And like one of the clients this morning, she was talking and she was like, she was like, you have no idea how many times I hear your voice in my head telling me that it's okay, that I don't need to be doing anything different, that I'm just in a season, that I need to like find peace with it and to breathe. She's like, I constantly hear you say, just breathe, just breathe. Like, and I think that that's why I started the episode of saying that piece of being, I'm so grateful to be here with you right now and to be having lungs that are capable of filling sweet oxygen and exhaling. Like, I am so grateful to breathe. And I think that the more we can slow down and find gratitude and we give space for just those simple things, my breath, and the more you just settle in and you're like, wow, I'm breathing. And then you can kind of find this next layer of appreciation where it's like, wow, that like there's a complex system at play here to make it so that I can breathe. And can I like step back and kind of give production and, like, wow, like that's a production to breathe. There's so many moving parts that have to come together to organize to make breath happen. And so can I give a little bit of appreciation for this production that just happens? It just happens in the background. And we get so busy, we get so bogged down by the details in life, and we forget to breathe. And so really what we're talking about here is nervous system regulation. How are you regulating when it feels very out of control and you feel like it's impossible to regulate? And these are the dualities that exist. How can I find joy when I'm overstimulated? How can I find peace when it feels like turmoil? And I want to tell you, you can. You can. I have. It is possible for you as well. I lead clients there all the time. And it is challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is challenging. But the more you can just breathe and give space, the more you can find appreciation, which ultimately the shift in the perspective happens the moment we can start to appreciate what is. So let's take this crazy example of just overwhelm, overstimulated, no idea what just happened. What the fuck just happened? Like, that's how everyone feels about July. What the fuck just happened? And so let's give space to that. Let's breathe into that. What the fuck happened, July? Well, okay. Kids are in activities. We're trying to squeeze in every drip of sunshine and summer that we can. And we're saying yes to all the people and all the things because, we were too busy in the winter, too busy in the spring, and now we have to squeeze it in. We have to see Sally and we have to see Joe and we have to meet up with Steve because we haven't for a really long time and we've been really busy. So we overcommit ourselves. We're trying to squeeze out all of the daylight. And we're still doing the regular things that we always have to do. We always have to wake up. We always have to do our normal hygiene and get ready routine. We have daily tasks that, just exist for any human. Whether or not you have help or not, you are having to eat throughout the day. You're having to prepare those meals or figure out where you're getting those meals from. Time and energy is spent in those, just feeding ourselves, right? Then we have laundry, and then we have cleaning, then we have dogs, then we have cats, we have, what other animals we have. We have our home, our property, our air conditioner unit broke. And so for 2 weeks, I'm trying to find somebody who can help repair our air conditioner. And it's like, I didn't think that the first guy who came out was the right guy because he wanted, way too much money. And I was like, I don't think that it should cost this much. So it's like more energy to find another person to come out and give you a quote. I mean, it's just like living is busy. And I'm noticing, even as I'm like naming off all these things, what am I forgetting to do? Breathe. I am forgetting to breathe. And so what happens is you're trying to fit it all in and you forget to breathe. You forget to regulate your nervous system. You forget to slow down enough to appreciate. And it's not that you're not having fun, right? July was crazy for us. I mean, literally, I think that I maybe slept in my own bed 5 nights all of July. I was camping. I was in Bend, Oregon. I was at the beach twice. I was camping on the river. I was staying at friends' houses. It was chaos. And in between all of that, I'm still having to do laundry. I'm still having to make sure that there's dog food, that somebody's taking care of the horses if I'm not there, that, there's gas in my car, that my clients are taking care. I mean, it's just like the list goes on and on and on. And while we're compounding and we're trying to squeeze out all this sunshine and we're having the time of our life, it doesn't mean that we're unregulated. We're squeezing out all the sunshine, squeezing out all the daylight, and we're dysregulated because we're trying to do too much. And we forget to breathe, and we forget to slow down, and we forget to find pause, and we forget to just see that it's okay. And so I can relate so closely with my clients that I talked to today. And I know if all 3 of them are feeling it, there are handfuls of other people who are feeling it as well. What the fuck just happened? And so this duality of I'm doing too much, but yet I'm doing all the things I want to do. Both truths get to be true. And it's okay. So how do we do both truths and not totally get lost and not hit burnout? And I think this is that pause. This is that reset. This is that rest where we need to give permission to slow down. Because what would happen if we did another July? Let me tell you what would happen for me. If I did another July like I just did, I would literally collapse. I physically can feel myself on the verge of that collapse. And I'm not going to, because I'm going to breathe. I'm going to give space. I'm going to set some stuff down. I'm not going to worry about vacuuming the house tonight. I'm not going to worry about putting away all the extra laundry. If the water doesn't get, if the plants don't get watered in the backyard today, no big deal. I have to go to bed early. As much as I love to stay up and look at the stars, Mama's going to go to bed at like 8:00. So it's about understanding that these 2 truths exist and then getting curious about where's the breath? Where can I insert breath? What can I leave out? What can I drop off? Where can I delegate? So client number 1, she is looking to get her kids. They're going to a new school. They're going back to school. And it's like the work shit is not the new stuff. The things that she knows need to happen in order for her business to go and flow and continue its upward trajectory. They're not happening. She's setting them down because it's just a season and I have to breathe. I have to pause. I have to find space. I can super relate to that. There are a lot of things that I've learned in the last month, and a lot of team meetings I've had in the last month. And there are big things that need to change, but those big things take time, and they really are going to take a lot of effort and energy and strategy. And I cannot do those while I'm trying to squeeze out all of summer. So I got to set it down. I got to let that be okay. And that's the duality. The duality is I want to speed up. I know what needs to get done, but I can't do it all. I have to create breath. I have to create appreciation for, okay, well, that's where I'm at right now. So how am I doing that? How am I guiding this client? We're making lists. We're triaging that list. So triage is this huge thing I've been talking about a lot with multiple people, because it's about doing the things that are bleeding out. So this is like that hospital terminology. You triage your ER department, right? If somebody's coming in with a gunshot wound to the chest, they're going to go before the person who has the broken leg. That's just how it works. We're triaging. So no different than an ER room. You have to triage your life and your business and decide what is absolutely number one, has to get done, or else like life or death. That's how you get through these dualities. That's how you start to find this space. You start to see that, yeah, it hurts. You have a broken leg. That sucks, but you're going to have to wait. Okay, your website, it really needs some TLC. It needs some back-end love. But are you going to bleed out? Is the world going to stop spinning? Are you going to not have any sales come through because your website isn't perfect and you've realized there's upgrades you want to make? Nah, bro, set it down. Go do the triage. What's the thing that you absolutely have to do? Well, I absolutely have to squeeze out all of the beautiful moments with my kiddos because they're going back to school next week. Great. Be there. Be present for that. Breathe that. Because the website is still going to be there, but your kids won't. They're only little ones. That time is so precious. Put the phone down. You can do business tomorrow. They'll be back in school in no time. So that is step number one. Triage your list. When you're in dualities, when you're trying to get multiple things done, when you're trying to squeeze sunshine out of the day and be fully present with your family, and you're also trying to build a business and you're wanting to climb the ladder and you're wanting to create more, success and wealth and well-being, you got to triage the list. If you can't breathe, let's triage that ASAP. You got to find breath. So surrender. So triage, and then we move into surrender. Is it frustrating that I can't get to my website? Yeah. How do I deal with that? How can I process that? How can I logicize that and surrender to it? It's not saying that it's not frustrating. It's not saying that it doesn't make you any less tired or exasperated. But if you're constantly living in this panic where you're not breathing and you're just like always in this fight or flight, go, 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 like hustle on to the next thing, you're not actually living. So you have to find the breath. You got to find the duality to slow down. You got to set down the things that aren't bleeding out. And if you can set some things down, your nervous system starts to regulate again because it can find breath. So surrender. How do we surrender? Well, it's challenging. It's challenging to let it go, but it's a practice, no different than yoga or working out or doing a diet or anything else, learning to meditate, learning to ride a bike. It's practice, little baby steps. Where can you practice letting go? Where can you set something down that's easy? Okay. I used to be a psychopants about going to bed with a clean kitchen because I loved waking up early and having a clean kitchen to come down to and do my meditation and blah, 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 blah. You guys have heard this story before if you've been here. Can I surrender and have one night of dirty dishes? Can I let it go? Yes. That is a safe, effective way for me to practice surrender. For me to just say, it's not really going to matter. Nobody's bleeding out. Nobody's like, this is not life or death. I can let this go. So you find micro moments throughout your day where you can practice surrender. Okay, I didn't make it to the grocery store, so I guess we're ordering in tonight. Or we're eating quesadillas because I got tortillas and cheese always. Can I let it go? Can I surrender? I guess I'm going to be late. There is nothing I can do to change time. Can I surrender and not allow anxiety to ruin my drive? I'm already late. Can I let it go? Practice micro moments of surrender. And the more that you practice that, the more they compound over time. And then when the bigger things come, like, okay, I got to set my website edit down. Even though I really want to do it, I just got that feedback and I know I can crush it, but I definitely need 8 to 12 hours to do it. Don't fucking have it right now. Can I just set it down for the week? Yes, because it is not life or death. If you can't triage it, you can't practice surrender. So this is why you have to identify how important it is. It might become the most important thing. Because if you don't edit your website, you won't make any sales. Therefore, your mortgage doesn't get paid and your kids don't eat, and you're going to start defaulting on payments. So actually, maybe it is a triage situation, and I do need to stay up late and work on my website, or I do need to say, no, I can't actually go camping, or no kids, sorry, mom's got to work. That's okay too. That's why we start with triage. We start with the triage. And then we surrender and we practice the surrender and we practice the triage. And you'll see over time, as you connect these two things, you'll start to see, oh, I kind of made this a life or death thing and it's not. Like the dishes. I kind of made it a life or death thing, but it's not. It's really not. Surrender. Find the breath. Triage the situation. Make your lists and triage your lists. Don't just do them in the order of operations and don't just haphazardly thumb through the to-do list. Triage your list. What is the most important thing that needs to happen? That should be at the very top of your list. Cross it off. Guess what's going to happen? Psychologically speaking, you are going to feel so fucking good because the top thing, the highest priority, just got checked off. And guess what? It's going to be easier to do. Surrender and let go as you move down that list. You're probably going to find areas, this would be the third tip of advice, where can you delegate or ask for help? I did a 3-part series a while ago. I think it starts with the 5x5 method, which is what I highly recommend everyone go back and listen to, especially if you're new to personal development. It's kind of a bite-size introduction to how to get started on thinking differently, feeling differently, and changing. And then I think it was, I don't know. I forget what comes next, but it's the 5x5. It's dare to receive and dare to ask for help. I think maybe something, I forget what they're titled, but that 3-part series I did this spring, I think, it talks a lot about asking for help. There's an entire episode about asking and receiving help. And I think that this is number 3. This is the delegation. This is where you have to be willing to say, this is above my capabilities right now. Can you help me? Right? You don't have to do it all. And that is a very old way of thinking that needs to just die. We need to be done with that. You don't have to do it all. You get to receive help. You get to be supported, but you do have to ask for it. So when you're looking at finding that breathing room, learning to regulate your nervous system, after you've made that list and you've triaged it, after you've started kind of surrendering and allowing your nervous system to regulate because you understand the level of importance, you can then be like, wow, maybe I could ask for help. Like maybe I could hire this out. Or maybe like my mom could take the kids to the park. Like it's important to me that they go to the park and enjoy time, but like maybe they could go with the neighbor. Maybe my husband could do it. Maybe I should like hire a house cleaner once a month. Like what is the area that causes you anxiety that you could ask for help? One of the people I spoke with today, they need to breathe like real bad. Like their life depends on it. Top of the list is you got to breathe. You got to like get some space from all of this shit. You need to ask for help. Well, I don't want to. Well, this is where you got to dive in. Why? What's getting in the way of you asking for help? Is it the ask for help, or is it the receptivity? You don't know how to receive the help. So you block yourself by never even asking for it. Where did you learn that? Who taught you that? The truth is, and I think you'll all agree with me, everyone wants to help somebody. That is human nature. There's probably a 1% of the population that are just like, they don't have that bone in them, but I would go to bat to say that everyone wants to help. And so you never know how your request for help could also help someone else feel value. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. It can be so simple. We have a neighbor, they're getting ready to move. She's pregnant. She's got a complicated pregnancy. Bro, I can't cook you a meal. I would love to. I would love to have that within my capabilities to bring you a home cooked meal. I don't have it, but what I can do is your kids can come over and play anytime. I can't pack up your home. It's not within my capabilities, but yeah, of course the kids can come over. I want to help. I really want to help. And I just have to find that path that feels really good for me. And it actually makes me feel good when she says, hey, can the kids come over? Heck yes, I want to help. I genuinely want to help you. People want to help you. Are you hearing me? Let me make sure this microphone is on. People want to help you, but you have to ask for the help. If you are struggling to ask for help, get curious about what is getting in your way. You need to breathe. You need to breathe. I don't know what the fuck just happened in July. I need to breathe. And guess what? I have spent majority of my weekend delegating so I could breathe. I asked for help. I delegated, and I let go of a lot. A lot of surrender happened. It's not going to be perfect. And that is okay. You got to breathe. Are you breathing? Let's take a breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Did anyone notice that their shoulders just dropped? That maybe their jaw relaxed a little bit? You got to breathe. We live in a world where our nervous systems are constantly in overwhelm, and we're constantly being pushed to hustle and keep going and do more, do it harder, do it faster, do it stronger, more. And what I want to offer you today is that you don't. You get to slow down. You get to breathe, and you have better do it before you reach total burnout, because it's so much harder to get to the other side once you've completely crashed, once you've collapsed. Don't collapse. Start breathing now. How can you do that? You just need to get curious. Ask questions. Get curious. How can I breathe a little bit today? Nervous system regulation is key for our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. You can't run or do physical things. You can't even walk unless you're breathing. Your emotional system regulates when you pause and take breaths. Your mental well-being. Like, have you ever, like, pay attention when you're in an argument, or, you know, when you were little or whatever, like when things would happen, traumatic things, right? When little kids get hurt, right? They fall, they scrape their knees. What do? They hold their breath. And what does the adult say? Just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. You have to breathe more. And you have to make space for the breath. You have to learn to self-regulate when you live in a world that has multiple dualities and multiple truths. You got to breathe. Just breathe. Doesn't matter if the breath is coming through the mouth or the nose. I'm super stuffed up all the time. I live in Oregon. I always have allergies. I have asthma. I'm a mouth breather. You're welcome. I am an imperfect human. I gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. I don't give a fuck how you breathe. Just breathe. And the more that you create this space between the thing that happened and the action you need to take, the more breath you can create, the more regulated the action will be. Your response will be cleaner and clearer. It won't be muddled. Breathe. I'm really excited because I am going to host another retreat. I've done a handful of them now, and I'm so excited to be creating another one. It's happening the first week of November. I have a handful of private clients who are all in, ready to go. They're very excited about it. And I'm going to open it up to you and the public. And if you're interested and you want to learn more, this retreat is all about that nervous system regulation. We're going to reset the body before Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, before chaos of kids being on break, before you have to hustle and do everything for everyone else. You get to take a break. You get to step away. You get to say, I'm going to regulate myself. I'm going to really take care of myself. I'm going to reset my nervous system. I'm going to get pampered at the spa every day. Someone is going to cook all of my meals, wholesome, farm to table, local, fresh, delicious, good for me food. And I'm going to sleep in. And I'm going to breathe with Karissa. And I'm going to have beautiful conversations with a handful of women who are ready to breathe as well. So if that sounds like a slice of heaven to close out 2024, to step into the holiday hustle with a reset, with breath, with tools that you can take and implement into your holiday hustle, be sure to email me, hello@karissadean.com. Space is very limited. It will likely sell out, so I would not hesitate to jump on this if you are interested at all. You guys have to breathe. You got to learn how to regulate your nervous systems. I don't know what that looks like for you. If you're curious about what it looks like for you, start asking more questions. Get a coach. Send me an email. Let's work together. You guys are amazing. You're worthy of it. Just breathe.